Hello and welcome to Sestra-Tainment. I'm Lenora.
I'm Dee.
And we're coming to you today in regards to everything entertainment.
And the barking you hear in the background is Cheeky Weeky.
Yeah, if you hear him.
Yeah. Of our Sestra-Tainment.
Yep. He's the third member of our crew.
Third member.
Yeah, he's our executive producer.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what it is.
He's gonna get like so many, was it?
Awards? What?
Grammys? Grammys or...
I don't know. Yeah, is that for podcasts, Grammys?
I don't know. Do they have anything for podcasts?
I don't know if they have anything for podcasts. No, I don't think so. I don't think that's it. It's like if we put it on an album, then we would get a Grammy.
Yeah, but I feel like the awards are coming up.
Okay,
all right,
so what do you have?
Starting off this week, and there has been a lot of things that have happened.
A lot has happened. This is your hot topics?
These are my hot topics. So just to start off, so the other day I opened up, I'm at work, have nothing to do, waiting on, people to tell me, hey, do this part in this car, do this, do that. And I started going through TikTok and I look and I see Jane Fonda's hugging a random woman.
Okay.
I'm like, what's happening with this? Yeah. And this is actually what ended up happening.
Makes me want to cry. This is such an important Thank you for coming. Thank you all for working. I'm doing everything I can. I've never done this for a president. I've done it for... I had an ex-husband who came from Royal Oak, Michigan. I've done it for him. But I've never done it for a president. But this is most important. Oh, definitely. We have to get them elected.
Oh, so she's going around.
She's going around door to door, knocking on doors.
Oh, look at Jane Fonda.
Look at Jane Fonda. Let me tell you this, okay? When it comes to Jane Fonda, she got a seat at the picnic table.
She has a seat at the table?
Because she's invited to every
cookout.
Okay. Every cookout. Because I feel like she will stiffly do... the wobble.
She could wobble. I'm pretty sure. If she did Jane Fonda fitness, she can wobble. She's got some moves. Yeah.
She got some rhythm. So therefore, So, but I feel like that is a great thing that she is actually coming out. She said she has never done this before, but except for an ex-husband who was running for something.
Oh,
but for her to endorse a president and a vice president, she was like, we have to make these changes. So I thought that was amazing that she even was going door to door. You have a celebrity going door to door.
Yeah, that's why the lady wanted to hug her. She's like, hello, Jane Fonda.
But if Jane Fonda showed up at this door, I'd be like, how can I help? What do you need me to do? I'll quit my job right now.
Well, the funny thing is just imagine if you were the person who somebody rung your doorbell and you just happen to like quickly glance and say, oh God, it's one of those poll people, and you just don't answer your door. Exactly. And then your neighbors are like, wasn't it amazing when Jane Fonda was in our neighborhood? And you're like, what? Yeah, that's who I didn't answer the door for?
Yeah, I mean, that's what the people
like she was the Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah, right. Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Oh my goodness. So
So that was one thing that I did want to talk about is how Jane Fonda is pushing for the Harris Walls campaign, and how she's going door to door.
Yep.
You have a celebrity not talking to a whole bunch of other celebrities or making a whole bunch of impact when it comes to anything on social media. She is knocking on doors in random neighborhoods.
Love it.
That is amazing. Because she knows if I knock on doors and I just see random people, I'm a celebrity. And people know me and they know what I stand for. Yeah. So therefore, if you see me and you're like, oh my God, that's Jane Fonda. I love her.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the person, though, because you have some people who are like, famous people need to just keep their mouth shut and their opinions to themselves, and then you have other people who are like, oh, this is great.
But the people who say famous people need to keep their mouth shut and keep their opinions
they're not
to
for their candidate.
Exactly.
They're not saying that about the other people.
If that's what you want to, if that's who you want to endorse, that's fine, bro. I have nothing to do with who you have to endorse.
Right.
That everybody is entitled to their own opinion
and their own vote.
Yeah, their own vote. So therefore, I don't care.
Okay.
I work with a whole bunch of guys that I'm really cool with, but some of them want to vote for Trump, and I'm like, bro, what your political statement has to do has nothing to do with me and your work.
Right, exactly, right. As long as it doesn't have anything to do with your and my
exactly. As long as it doesn't, as long as it doesn't have to do with your and my relationship. Right. Work life. All we have to do is, hey, how you doing? All right, cool.
Right.
But as soon as you're like, hey, how you doing? Did you hear what blah 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 blah? Well. Boom. Pause. 30 seconds. Let's not do this.
Gotcha.
Time out.
Okay.
Another thing that I wanted to talk about, because I have a few things to talk about. There is a woman who invited all of her friends over for a paint and sip.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
The only thing is, they did not know that they were painting her house. I love it.
So you're thinking you're going to just sit at an easel and paint.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, paint my living room.
So she's on TikTok. Her name is Cutera
Somebody
Bryant.
had to have gotten an understanding or a thought.
Oh, yeah, no. The first person came in, it was probably like, girl, sending a text message, girl, she got a set up.
Oh, gosh.
But I think that is awesome, because you got to think about it. How expensive is it for people to have somebody come in and do any work to your house?
Yeah.
So therefore, if you get your friends to come over, you shouldn't never like tell them something that's not going to be.
I know, that's what I was going to say, but it's a bait and switch.
But it's not a bait and switch, because he did say paint and sip, so she had wine
she
for
knew
them,
what they were
and she had
planning
paint
for.
rollers. So yeah,
She knew.
Yeah, she did.
And she shouldn't be surprised if some of that paint end up on her floor.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They're just like, oh, I'm gonna be spiteful.
Oh no, I'm pretty sure she already had everything already taped off.
Maybe
yeah.
so. Maybe.
But
so.
I mean, but it's like, you could do that with your real friends when they show up and be like, oh, no, you didn't. All right, come on, let's go ahead.
So who is it that did it on TikTok? Are you saying
yeah,
the
her
name
name.
of the person?
Her name is. I don't know if it's Cutera, Quuteria.
Okay.
Bryant. So she just posted this, and but she actually did it last month. But she posted it and was talking about how that, and I think she had like 6 friends that came in, and then she shows later, like they're like, oh hey, what's going on?
So they had fun.
Come in the house. We don't see all that. What we do see is people with wine glasses and people with a paint
rollers. Okay.
So I mean, like, it looks like they had fun.
Okay.
But I mean, bait and switch. I mean, it's. I feel like it's good enough.
Good for them.
She should have definitely told them, but things happen. Also, another thing that I want to talk about is Diddy the Diddler. Diddy has so much going on with his case right now. He is denial bail twice.
Right.
Now.
So he's been arrested this week.
He has been arrested. Yes, I don't know if he turned himself in or not, because I think he relinquished a lot of stuff. Like he relinquished like his plane. Keys to like his house, his mother's house. Like he did a lot of stuff. So and then
he knew that he was getting arrested because, and somebody was like, "Yeah, here's Diddy sitting in the park the day before he gets arrested, or hours before he gets arrested."
But I understand that, because if you know what you did, and you're like, I'm about to go down. I just want to be outside.
Yeah, that's what it made it look like. He looked nervous as I don't know what when they were showing him out in the park.
Feeding the ducks with some bread.
No, he was just sitting there, and some woman was sitting near him, and
he was contemplating his life choices.
And he was like, had his phone in his hand, and somebody was like, yeah, he's deleting every text message, every whatever, and I mean, it doesn't matter. They'll be able to pull everything. Yeah. But he just was looking, and he was turning around and stuff, and you could hear this woman in the background like, I think that's a singer. Like, just some woman who's like, I don't really know who he is, but I think that's a singer.
So there's a lot of things that have been going on. He was said,
I don't know when I'll see outside again, so let me just go ahead and
But you know what?
outside.
We might have the best mixtape ever.
Why?
Because we might have a Diddy R. Kelly mixtape.
Oh, goodness. I hope not.
But let me tell you this. If you separate the music from the person's actions, then that would be great.
I mean,
but then also the person's actions... When you hear the songs, you're like, okay, so now I see why you said age ain't nothing but a number.
Oh, of course, with R. Kelly, and there's a lot of things R. Kelly did that you listen to it, and you're like, and the same thing in regards to, Diddy. When you think about it, and like the things that he was doing in plain sight.
What, bruh? Don't say take that.
Even Bad Boy Records. I mean, like he wasn't a good boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it was just a whole bunch of different things that he did. That in hindsight, when you look back, you're like, okay. I mean, to the point that I went down this rabbit hole. I got to find the name of the guy who I was following on TikTok, who did a huge story in regards to him. But he was basically like, look, this stuff has been going on forever.
They have, was it 24 years of information, even back to when he was at Howard.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they got stuff from...
So much stuff.
Every which way. Yep, exactly.
The thousands of bottles of Johnson & Johnson. Let me just give a shout out to Charlemagne the God for saying the little quote that he said. where he was like, whoever, he got a RICO like trial coming up on him. So whoever his assistant was that was doing the stuff for the freak off, who went and got Johnson and Johnson for Diddy's blank blank, then they're gonna be in some trouble too. So it's like everybody who is working under him is gonna have some time or something that's gonna end up messing up their life because they worked under this one man.
You mean, because they're going to go down with him is what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So this is the information that the U.S. attorney, he wants no bail and claims that he's a flight risk. So I just want to play this.
A 3-count indictment charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution. The indictment alleges that between at least 2008 and the present, Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. As alleged in the indictment, to carry out this conduct, Sean Combs led and participated in a racketeering conspiracy that used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity, including sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice.
So this is actually from TMZ's TikTok page that has what the U.S. Attorney General was. His name is Damian Williams, and everything that he was talking about is basically what TMZ is putting out with the press conference and talking about how like he's not getting bail.
Well, he already went in front of the judge, and the judge had denied him bail, even though he said that he would put up $50 million so that he could. He was like, "You can restrict female access. You can give me a thing on my ankle. You can do whatever. I'll, like you said, relinquish planes. Don't have any way to go anywhere. Just let me not stay in these horrific conditions in this prison."
And the judge is like, "You're just a person. I don't care. You're not a celebrity to me. The things that you did to all of these people is so messed up that you are now a danger to society."
Right.
So therefore, guess what? You're going to sit in jail. And now apparently Diddy is a big drinker and like does a lot of big like drugs and stuff like that. So now he has to sit in a cell.
Yeah.
And go through his withdrawals. Which God only knows how that's going to go. But then also, you don't know what those men in prison are feeling like seeing this stuff about Diddy. Some of them might be like, "Oh, Diddy, I got your back." And some of them might be like, "You know what? Cassie reminds me of my sister." And when you put hands on her, that gave me like, made me want to put hands on you now.
Or they may just say, "Hey, it's another person in here that, hey, we can do a freak off."
Oh, yeah.
We can have a freak off.
You know what? And I'm pretty sure,
know.
Because as much money as Diddy has, he'll probably be like, "I'm going to pay the CEOs off. I'm going to make sure
No,
that
I'm saying that
good."
they will be like that towards him. I don't know if he'll have any power.
So no Johnson & Johnson.
I don't know.
Just
I don't know enough about, the life.
Got it. Yeah, but that was a thing that is going on with the Diddy case. So he is going to end up sitting in jail and figuring out what's going on. I know that the judge did have some things to ask about with him, where it was like he's not a danger to society, like his lawyer saying he's not a danger to society, and he feels really bad about the stuff that happened. And then the judge says, "So what about the video that we saw released in the press?" And his lawyer says, "Well, that was just a lover's quarrel. They were in love and they were going back and forth and back and forth." And the judge says, "Well, that doesn't look like a lover's quarrel to me. That looks like a man who's running with a towel on to go chase a woman who's trying to get away from him, kicks her, and then drags her by her hair back into the room. That is not the same thing." So then he was like, "Nope, no bond." Boom. Yeah. That's it. So the thing is, I think that Diddy was thinking, "Oh, I got money, blah, 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 blah."
Well, he's used to that.
Exactly. Yeah. So now I feel like what's going to end up happening is they said they're going to have extra security on him so he doesn't have to worry about anything like the Jeffrey Epstein type thing, where it could be he was committed suicide or somebody took care of him. Yeah, exactly.
Well, and they said that he's in an isolated, restricted area of the prison, and it's the same one that, what is her name? Whatever from Epstein. Giselle, I can't think of her name, but anyway, y'all know who we're talking about. And R. Kelly is there.
Ghislaine,
something like that, yeah. And R. Kelly is there, and there's some other person that I can't remember.
So that's why everybody's saying it's going to be the best mixtape ever. If you got R. Kelly and Diddy.
I'm wondering if both of them are in isolated areas, or is it like R. Kelly's been in there so long that now he's just with general population?
On his booty.
Okay, on that note,
just play it.
I am moving. I'm gonna
Sorry,
add.
that was extra. That was extra, but yes.
I'm gonna add, and to that I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole with a guy called Ghostface Panda on TikTok.
Okay.
So the Ghostface Panda, and so he is amazing because he does these long videos, which I watched the whole thing because it's about people and their lives and whatever. So he ended up doing one in regards to, he does everybody. He's done Eminem. He did this one on Diddy. He's done them on, just a bunch of different people. So anyway, long story short, he had a 9-part series on Diddy, if I'm remembering correctly. Okay. And so, long story short, and this he just recently released, but he's basically talking about from Diddy's childhood to present time, basically.
Oh, wow.
And he goes into everything from his childhood, and I'll just go over these different areas pretty quickly, but the childhood was all about the fact that he grew up, his father died when he was young because he was a drug dealer. He turned state evidence against the kingpin or whatever, and as he got released from jail, the kingpin knew he did it, and they killed him out front, right? Yeah. So then the guy goes into the fact that Diddy realized at a young age that he did not have the same emotions that everybody else has outside of anger.
Oh,
so anger was the only one. So they said he was a sociopath.
That's
and so therefore he would fake that, everybody's laughing, I need to laugh. This is supposed to be funny. Oh, I need to do that. So he goes into the depths of all of that.
I could definitely see that.
And then he said that what ended up happening is that because he could take on different people's personas, he became so charismatic to people because of the fact that they were like, oh, he's just like me. Well, he's just like you because he's taking on your persona, right? So then they said that he actually connected. I never knew this story with Heavy D. He knew Heavy D all along. So when Heavy D was starting to come up, he was like, dude, come with me. I just got signed for this label. I want to introduce you to Andre Harrell because he's my producer, right? So then Heavy D connects him to Andre Harrell. Well, him and Andre, from what everybody's saying, got extremely, extremely close.
Okay.
And so therefore, Andre Harrell on his record label all of a sudden took his intern and made him an executive head of the A&R department. So then as that starts happening,
it ain't tricking if you got it.
Everybody started getting frustrated with the fact that Diddy was getting all this extra attention and promotion with Andre. And so then what ends up happening is that Diddy was supposed to hold an event. Because he was at Howard, he was already throwing parties. So Andre was like, okay, well, look, here's the deal. I want you to throw this particular party in New York City. So, he's like, bet. Well, he doesn't keep track of how many tickets are being sold.
Oh, God.
He just sells and sells. They're promoting it like crazy. It's on every radio station, whatever. And what ends up happening is that when the day of the event comes, the line is astronomical. The facility can only hold 2,500 people. And there were a ton of people that were there, right? So they called Andre, or somebody from his team actually called Wendy Williams and said, look, get on the radio and tell people to don't come now. If you don't already have tickets, don't even come. Because people were coming, didn't have tickets, and they were still selling them there. And it was all Diddy's responsibility to control for crowd control. So then somebody was like, dude, you need to have some cops here or something. We need to do whatever. Long story short, everybody bum rushes because they see Mike Tyson come in and they see LL Cool J come in, and the artist had to come in through the same doors as the people, because he didn't have any ingress and all that.
You're a college kid. You
don't know. So long story, and you're not even probably supposed to really be in that position, but because you're in a different position, you're in that position.
Because you said you could.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
I was talking about him and Andre's positions, but I digress. So anyway, what ends up happening is that 9 people died. 9 people got crushed stampeded, whatever. One lady was pregnant with the baby, and Diddy's response was, "That's not my fault. Like, they shouldn't have been doing all of that. They should have followed the rules. They should have whatever." And everybody was like, wait, at the record label was like, dude, it was your fault. You were responsible for making sure that it was, you know. Yeah. And so they said that that's when the sociopath behavior really started to show, because he never had any remorse. He never felt bad about it. He was just like, look, they should have just followed what we were trying to tell them. That's on them. Yeah. So then it comes out to be, this is the part that the guy said that was really interesting to me, right? So he's like, yeah, he signed Craig Mack, because then, he left, right? So he left because, after that event, he got fired. Andre had to fire him. He didn't have a choice. Yeah. He fired him. Well, Andre was with Clive Davis like Diddy was with Andre. Okay. So therefore, Diddy made relationships with Clive Davis. And he came to the freak-offs. Well, and he got Bad Boy Records because of Clive. Andre was ticked. So anyway, he got Bad Boy. He signs Craig Mack as his first person. Then he found out that, that Notorious B.I.G. could be his second person, but he had already had an album done. So he put his album out before Craig Mack turned Craig Mack and Notorious against each other, because he was famous for having people who are together but not.
Because if you have that, then you're going to have record sales.
Right, because they're against each other. Exactly. This is all while Notorious and Tupac were all friends. So then what ends up happening before all of that, so then it goes into this whole rabbit hole of how, because of the fact that Notorious overheard something that Diddy was saying to somebody who lived in LA, I think it was LA or somewhere, anyway, with a connection that was connecting something together for Tupac showing up at the studio to be on Biggie's album. Yes. So then it's like, okay, well, Tupac got shot that time, and he was mad at Biggie, like, you set me up, and that whole
Biggie
beef.
Was like, I didn't even do nothing.
East Coast, West Coast happened. But it was because of the fact that Notorious overheard a call with Diddy, and somebody called Tupac and said, dude, if this particular person calls you and tells you to show up somewhere, don't go. Do not go. And Tupac didn't listen. He showed up.
Because Tupac's like proud. He's like, I don't care. Like, thug life, baby. I'm outside. I don't care about
I don't know about that. I just know that he ended up not paying attention to what Notorious was saying, and therefore when he showed up at where Notorious was,
they shot him in the elevator.
They shot him right outside the elevator as part of Notorious's crew was coming out the elevator too. So then that's why he assumed that Biggie had something to do with it, but Biggie didn't. So he started turning against Puffy. Then he was like, look, I just want out my contract. Period, point blank, done. And then Diddy was like, well, you got to fulfill all the obligations of the contract, then you're out. So then they go through that whole thing, and and then all of a sudden Tupac ends up dead, and then you have the whole thing with Biggie, and Biggie so then what this guy's story is that Heavy D's dead, Craig Mack's dead, Tupac's dead, Biggie's dead. Kim, who was going to write a book about him, is dead. Like every single person. Somebody else's car blew up, which is why some of the cases are about arson.
Big Sean.
Right. So
Big Sean's car blew up because of some drama that happened
with Kim. And so that was about the fact that, that's why he has an arson case against him, is because of that. And so, and they said, guess who else was somebody who was in the whole mix of everything very early on, was Al B. Shore, and he almost died.
He did almost die.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Yeah, I know what I'm saying, but no, he did almost die, so that's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Who had a kid with Kim.
Yeah. That he was raising. And took him in as his own and was like, no, do you need it?
So they are like, he should be thrilled that he does not have murder charges against him at this time. At this time, yes. That's true. But literally, any and everybody that he touched, and that's why they said that he ended up potentially doing that to Biggie, is because Biggie was done with him. He was like, I already know how you move, and that's not how I move. Exactly. Yeah. Now, the other thing that's very interesting is they said one of the guys, and he's talking on everything. I don't even know. I forgot who the guy is.
Protect him at all costs, because him and Jaguar Wright are going to be. Jaguar Wright. Because I got something to say about her, too.
Yeah, but what ended up happening is he was like, if you look at all the videos, you see me on the radio, true, whatever. The woman who's saying true is a transgender male. Back then. Oh. And it's like almost, and there was like in some other video, it's the women who were in the bed with Shine, or there's the women in the, you know, doing this with that. And everybody was transgender males back then. So they were like, so this is something that if you were paying attention back then you knew the culture of Diddy. You know what I mean? And it's like, and people were so big on, I just got to get my albums out here. Like, I just got to suffer through it. I'll do anything. Like, let me just do that. Right. And then they said, that same guy said that, well, the reason that Diddy turned out the way Diddy did is that when he was at Howard throwing parties before all of this, he was just a normal kid. Like, he was just a regular person.
He had nothing. He didn't have anything.
But this person said, when you think of his influences, which was Clive Davis and Andre Harrell, and it was somebody else he mentioned, he was like, all of those people are the ones who turned him into who he is, because that's what they were doing. But for some reason, all of them aren't getting the same, you know, never got the same. I mean, Clive's the only one.
I think they really just was like, oh no, he's working under me.
But he was like, you know, people who introduced him to drugs, people who introduced him to the culture and the lifestyle and all this kind of stuff. And it was like, it was expected. Like, this is what you have to do. Okay. Or do you want to get ahead? Then come into this room. Do you want to do whatever? Okay, take these drugs. Oh, you want to do whatever? Because you have to, like one person said, you have to take a step. They push you. They come to you and they present you with something, right? And they're like, how bad do you want it? Do you want it bad enough to really sell your soul? And if you do, then we'll walk with you, we'll guide you, we'll help you that. If you say no, figure it out.
Yeah.
And a lot of people sell their soul. Crazy. So anyway, I've been on a rabbit hole.
I feel like the Illuminati,
the Ghostface Panda.
I feel like Illuminati is not an actual, like, fraternal organization. I feel like the Illuminati is, hey, you're going to come in here and you're going to do this if you want this money, and you're not going to say nothing about what I tell you to do.
I don't know.
I ask you to do. Because I feel like it's not like the Freemasons. It's not like anything like that. I feel like the Illuminati is, okay, we're hush-hush, and you're going to do this. You got to sign this NDA, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's not going to be anything else. So you had mentioned Shine, and this is what Shine has said. So Shine's name is Moses Barrow, but this is him because now he's an ambassador for Belize and is trying to be a prime minister.
Running for office.
And this is what he had to say.
I was an 18-year-old kid, just wanting to do nothing other than make my mother proud and make Belize proud and do what all of us want to do, be recognized for our talent and take over the world. I was defending him, and he turned around and called witnesses to testify against me, and he contributed. He pretty much sent me to prison. So that is the context by which you must always describe that relationship. Yes, I forgave, I moved on, but let us not pretend as if I was in Miami for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Well, I spent a birthday with him, man.
I saw a birthday cake. Went again to do a charity event for impoverished youth in London. So let us not lose sight of what the cold hard facts are. This was not someone who I vacationed with and who he and I enjoyed this great intimate relationship of brotherhood. This is someone who destroyed my life.
So that's basically him saying, well, I took the fall for Diddy.
Yeah. Yeah, and everybody knew that.
Yeah, and he's supposed to be looking out for me, but he now gets people to testify against me.
Right, because he's a sociopath.
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't care.
So
it's
that's
whoever
the thing.
is in your wake.
Yeah, he like Diddy was like, I want you to trust me, blah, 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 blah.
I got your back. I'm going to take care of you.
No problem.
I got your lawyers.
But now that Shine is older and he's trying to live his life in a correct way, in a law-abiding way, it's now that all this Diddy stuff is coming out, now it's a lot of press coming to Shine with him running for what's it called, the MP, oh my God, why can't I think of the name of it? What is it called? The prime minister, the PM. He's running for prime minister of Belize. Mm-hmm. So now that all this is coming up, now he's like, well, I want y'all to know, like, I did this for Diddy. He crapped on me, and now we have no relationship.
Yeah.
He's like, a lot of things that you see, like when Shine showed up to the BET Awards, and he actually performed the "Ashes to Ashes, Dust to Dust" song. You know, whoa, yeah. Yeah. So with him doing that, he was like, but that was just for me to get my face out. This has nothing to do with Diddy. Mm-hmm. Like, this is just, I was on the label. They were talking about bad boy in general. So he's bringing out all the bad boy people, and I was one of them. The one that's still alive.
Yep.
So that's one thing that was said. Also, Jaguar Wright.
Okay. Oh, and the guy who I was talking about who was saying some of this stuff about him not being that way, but then he turned, was his ex-bodyguard who is saying, he's spilling he has been for a while, spilling the beans on everything. And he was even to the point, he done brought up names. He was like, he's the one who said Clive Davis, Andre Harrell, it was somebody else. And then he even said Russell Simmons. Oh, yeah. And he was just like, yeah. He said, because I saw with my own eyes at Russell Simmons' house some dude in his bed. Right. So blah, blah, blah. And I said, oh, you just putting everybody business out here. But anyway, long story short, he was like, you know, he's spilling all the tea. I do not know what his name is, but if you just Google anything with a friend or ex-bodyguard of Diddy, you'll come across that. Now everybody is also saying that you need to find Farnsworth Bentley, because I know because he's got to have some stories.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So Jaguar Wright was explaining J-Lo's silence about Diddy's downfall, and was talking about some incidents that happened. So let's talk about that.
And marrying Ben Affleck was going to take you out of the Diddy downfall. But it saved her the first time, though, didn't it? Because as soon as that club was over and as soon as they finished interrogating her, when she sat there and cried like a baby, I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to go to jail. Benny Medina put her with that drunk white boy until she ran him off. Like, there are people sitting here screaming out at the toll that the atrocities that Sean Combs has done to their lives, and you're trying to avoid your part in the story or the fact that you never spoke up. You know, you want to tell people on the low and put it out there that the movie was about you getting away from Puffy, but you didn't think about the trail of girls that you left behind. What happens to Cassie if J-Lo had said something that didn't look back then?
So with her saying that, she also talks about how
I didn't know that she wrote or produced or did anything with the movie enough for it to be that.
J-Lo?
Yeah.
I don't know for sure about anything with that. I don't follow J-Lo information. But what Jaguar Wright was saying was that the night that there was a shooting of Diddy's ex-girlfriend inside of a club, J-Lo had gunpowder residue on her hand and a gun in her purse. Yeah. So while she's talking just now, there's a mugshot of Diddy and a mugshot of J-Lo. Mm-hmm. And that's from that club incident. And then Jaguar Wright was saying, well, that woman got shot and she was fighting for her life, and at no time did J-Lo come and say anything about it. J-Lo never said. She was like, it was what, 2002 when J-Lo and Diddy were together?
Okay, I don't know.
Yes, that's what she said. She was like, and 15 years later, Diddy is with Cassie. She said, but if you knew that this man was whooping your tail, you could have came out and said something. So then that way there's not a trail of women. But then it's like, that's easier said than done. And I understand that. But it always has to be one person who's going to come out and say something. Which in this case it was
with Cassie.
Was Cassie, yeah.
And that's the whole reason this whole downfall is happening anyway, is because of Cassie. Had she not been brave enough to say it, I don't think, in my opinion, that they would have ever even went looking for those tapes that showed him running down the hallway after her in his towel. And I don't think, I just think that all that stuff wouldn't have come to pass.
Exactly. And then, so the thing that was said also by the district attorney, which I didn't play that whole thing, but you can go to TMZ's page on TikTok and listen to all of it. But the district attorney was saying basically there was an assistant or assistants that had certain jobs that they had to do for the freak-offs and for different parties, where they had to go and get 1,000 bottles of Johnson and Johnson baby lotion, lube,
baby oil,
baby oil,
oil and lube,
yeah.
Had
to go and get that for the freak offs, and then so they are the ones. So his assistants were the ones that came and set up the rooms for the party, and then came back the next day and cleaned up the rooms for the party. So therefore, with Diddy having a RICO charge, Charlamagne the God, shout out to him. Yeah. He is funny, but he's serious, but in a funny way. When he's like, everybody who was an assistant who had all that baby oil in their cart. Just understand, if he got a RICO charge, you got something coming for you. Because you already knew what was happening
with
for
baby.
this.
I mean, who needs
1,000+ bottles of baby oil? I'm sorry.
Right.
But like, who needs all of that?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I mean, but I guess so. Do you think that he like literally wanted people like oiled up doing whatever they were doing? Like everybody is just all glistening and oily?
I wasn't at a Diddy party. I don't know.
I mean, I'm just trying to figure out what
Maybe,
do you do with so much
Hopefully,
baby oil?
I mean,
they literally showed a picture on TikTok of the raid, quote unquote, and it's supposed to be a real picture of like baby oil just lining like a whole bathroom
with
vanity and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's just like
it's like a sink on one side, clothes on the floor, and then baby oil on the backside.
But baby oil was everywhere. It was underneath the sink, above the sink. It was laid up. It was rows.
It was two rows underneath the sink.
And it looked like the pump baby oil. It didn't even look like it was like, and that's even bigger.
So maybe.
So it's like drums of baby oil, basically.
Maybe baby oil is cheaper than KY. I don't know.
No, because it was both. I heard that it was both.
Well,
I didn't hear that it was one and the other.
P&G was making money off of Diddy. So
he probably had stock in them too.
Oh, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, so he has a lot going on for him right now in a very negative way, and we will see what ends up happening with this.
Yeah, they said that it could end up being a life sentence. At a minimum, it's 15 years.
Do you know how long R. Kelly has?
I don't.
I don't either.
It might be life. Is it life? I feel like it might be life.
I have no idea. But I mean, the one thing that I will say is that the justice system is good for when it comes to, protecting women, but it's only good for protecting women if some other stuff happened.
It's late, though.
No, it is late, but then also nobody really came out with anything because of the NDAs and all the stuff that Diddy had people sign. And
they said, and that's the thing. It's like it's 20 years for R. Kelly.
Okay.
If you don't have anything to hide, you don't need NDAs, right?
Exactly.
Okay. If you do have things to hide, you'll definitely need NDAs, but also come to find out that he had the Epstein way of thinking as well,
Very
which
true.
is that you get people in compromising positions at your party and you record it and you have pictures of it and then you blackmail them based on it. So that is just the lay of the land of the rich and famous.
Exactly.
And I think, from what I had heard, Epstein was not the first, I'm sure, but one of the first that got, it became very lucrative for him.
Exactly.
And so, there's other people who also do exactly the same. And I think that he thought he was untouchable.
Exactly.
But even somebody who was talking, it was so funny. This person, it was like June, whenever they raided his house in May or something like that, this person knew someone.
Dipped out and left his kids?
Yeah. When somebody had to, go in front of the grand jury. So this person, his ex-bodyguard, was talking and saying, I talked to somebody and they texted him in June or something. They were like, so when do you think charges will come against him? They already raided his house. Like, why is it taking so long? He was like, it's going to be around September. And this was in June. He said that. And then they were like, why do you say September? And he was like, well, because the person that I know that spoke to the grand jury, they said that before they left, they were saying that, there's a lot of evidence that they're pulling up and they reconvene every 30 days. So he was like, they never go 120 days past when they do the raid.
Yeah,
so
therefore,
therefore,
that is a statute of limitations type thing.
So he was like, within 3 months, I give it before they'll be ready to arrest him. And I was like, what?
And that's what it was.
Exactly. So he
and,
was speaking to the future.
It's
so he's
crazy.
in the know of stuff. Anyway.
That's what I had for my hot topics.
Yeah,
was just
it's a lot.
Diddy info, Jane Fonda, and the slip of paint and sip.
Okay. Well, then I have, in addition to what you spoke about, I just wanted to share that Tito Jackson passed away.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, Tito Jackson. So from what I had heard is that what ended up happening is that he was actually riding back home, like from an event or something like that. So he was 70 years old. He had recently moved to Oklahoma. and he was really loving it in Tulsa because that's where he was currently living. And on the way back from an event he had hosted back to his home, he ended up having a heart attack.
Yeah,
So I didn't hear at first that it was a heart attack, but they said he started having chest pains and then, ended up having a heart attack and passed away. And so people probably know he was a member of the Jackson 5, one of the oldest brothers in the Jackson 5. He actually used to play their bass.
Yeah, and he stole the guitar from his father.
Oh, I didn't hear that part.
So yeah,
Okay.
it was actually part of the Jackson 5 movie, the 5-part miniseries or whatever.
I probably missed that part.
Apparently he wanted to learn how to play because his father had a guitar.
Yeah.
He wanted to learn. His mother was like, you can go ahead and use your dad's guitar while he's at work.
Yeah.
But put it back.
Put it back exactly
how he had it.
yeah.
And he used it. He ended up breaking a string. His father came home, beat his tail, and then said, well, if you can play, go ahead and play for me. And then when Tito actually played, he played good. His father was like, well, you play better than me.
Yeah.
You know what? We're going to make a group. And that's how it all started.
It was just from Tito. So you wouldn't have Michael Jackson
from a broken guitar.
You would not have Michael Jackson that you would know of if it wasn't for Tito.
Yeah.
Wow.
And what's so crazy is that a lot of these child stars that grow up to be super duper famous, they actually have their parents that have pushed them to be this, but not always is it in a positive way, but in a way it becomes positive for once they become adults and get away from their parents and be able to do what they want to do. It's positive then, but the things that they have to go through before that is not as good, but it makes them who they are.
Right.
So
yeah.
So poor Tito.
There we go. Yeah, so he passed away, and of course the Jackson 5, some say that we're like the original boy band, boy group, in regards to that. Because you had men like the Whispers and the Spinners and, the Temptations and all of that. But like to be so young. And exactly. And so he, passed away in Oklahoma. And
you know what?
It's sad.
I've been seeing a lot of videos on social media where people are like, so first of all, God, you want to take Rich Homie Quan.
Oh.
Then you want to come and take James Earl Jones. Mm-hmm. Then you go and take
Frankie Beverly.
And now you want to take Tito. Why Tito? Oh, Lord. You can't just take everybody. But we are not prepared for this. We got a Diddy trial going on. We got this going on. We don't even know what's going to happen with our country. You can't take everybody.
I know. It's like this year is an interesting year, and it all started with Cat Williams.
So that was another thing I was going to say. So I was listening to a podcast. I was listening to Breakfast Club. Okay. And Charlamagne the God was like, I will tell you this right now. Wendy Williams. He was like, when I was working for Wendy Williams, he was her assistant. He would get phone calls, listening on the phone calls. She was like, I don't believe that was true. Not report on it. Yeah. It ended up being true, but she was like, I don't believe that.
I don't believe it, yeah.
But then the things that she actually believed was true, she was like, oh, I'm reporting on this. Make sure you get the notes on this. So he was like, the amount of things that Wendy Williams knew that she didn't put out there because she didn't have all the facts and didn't believe that it was true. He was like, but then everything else that Wendy Williams has talked about on her radio station, on her TV show, he said it's all been true.
Yeah. Some things she didn't believe, but it was still true. And then the things she did believe were true.
Exactly. So it was like, he was like, a lot of people want to give Wendy Williams a bunch of flack. He was like, but she's giving you all the information. And he was also saying that, he said, well, Cat Williams said it best on Club Shay Shay. 2024 is going to be the year of the secrets. Yep. And that's what it is. Cat Williams was absolutely right. Jaguar Wright said it too. They're absolutely right. This is the year of all the secrets. All secrets will be revealed this year. And it's crazy because that is literally what's happening.
That's what's happening.
More people are opening their mouths and more people don't care. Like, people are like, I don't care about being sued by this, entity because of the fact that I ain't got no money. And if I go to court for this, I might be able to get some money. So forget this NDA. I want to put this out there because I got it. Yeah.
And plus, the other side to this is, NDA or not, people still look at you like, well, you knew, like for Diddy, for example, you knew what was going on. Why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you protect the women? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? So it's almost like NDA or not. It's like, I might just have to say something nowadays just because of the fact that it's going to be such a negative reflection on me. Like, I didn't know what I was signing an NDA about. Like, I signed it and then I see stuff and I'm like, oh, this is what's a part of that NDA? I didn't realize that this is what was going to be a part of that. You got me trying to drag a body out the house? Like, no, I didn't realize this was what I was signing up for.
So they said that, I saw it on social media as well, that they were talking about Diddy's assistant. She looks like she might be like Middle Eastern or Hispanic or something like that. And be like, this is the new Chris
Does she have short hair?
Maxwell. No, she has long hair.
Oh, okay.
It was like, this is the new, was it Grease Lane? Maxwell. Okay. Yeah, this is the new her because she's doing exactly for Diddy what Gris Lane was doing for Epstein by trafficking people. So
that's part of the charges.
Yeah, that's part of the charges. So it's like, bro, like,
because you're trafficking. Because anytime you take people over state lines to perform in any type of act, you are you're trafficking.
You're sex trafficking.
Yep, exactly. Now, can I say who I want to hear from? You want to guess?
Hold on, let me think.
I'm sorry for the dead air, everybody.
Quincy?
Mm-mm.
Who?
Mary J. Blige.
She's not gonna say nothing.
I know she's not.
Mary J. Blige is bride to die.
I
was your lover and your secretary.
Okay. I want to hear from her because guess who originally signed her? Andre Harrell.
Yeah, Andre Harrell. Yeah.
And what does she know about any instances with him and Diddy, da-da-dee, da-da-day. But then also, her and Diddy were always so close and invited to every party and did everything. I mean, like, what did she know? What has she seen? What, whatever. Like,
I don't think she would ever say anything.
Probably implicate herself too much. So
yeah, but you know what? Honestly, I don't. So from the woman that I see Mary J. Blige as, I feel like she's a strong black woman who's been through a lot of stuff, and I feel like with her, she's like, look, all these women that done me wrong. I ain't worried about nobody else but myself. So therefore, if these girls want to come in here and sign this NDA to go ahead and be on the freak off with Diddy, I ain't got nothing to do with that.
Maybe
I'm gonna mind my business and be over here in my corner with my little DeLeon or Ciroc or whatever. But I don't think that she's gonna say anything about it. And I'm pretty sure she's gonna be like, well, when I saw some things.
If people will allow her to not say anything about it, because some people are just like, you're not going to be able to have an interview nowadays without potentially somebody asking.
So how would you feel if she like, well, I saw saw a busload of women coming inside for a freak off, and I saw 1,000 bottles of lube, and I was like, nope, I ain't having this,
and I left. Yeah, and I get it, because the thing is that as long as everybody is a willing participant, that it's just a bunch of grown people doing what a bunch of grown people want to do. So, which is to another thing that I want to talk about, but I don't think it'll be this week. So I'll talk about that one later. It's a show on Hulu. So anyway, but I would say that I guess my whole thing is it would be interesting to know what she knew. We will never probably know what she knew or what she saw, but just to me, it would just be fascinating to just know. And like I said, if these women are coming there and they're doing what they do, fine, no big deal. They're signing their papers. They're showing up on their own. Great. No problem. At your own will. And you just feel like this is what I'm willing to sacrifice to be close to this environment. Exactly. Right. No problem. No harm, no foul, in my opinion. If, for example, you're being forced, coerced, told that you have to, feel as though you're there against your will, like R. Kelly, then that's a whole other situation.
So you know about the models that Diddy flew out to come to the studio, whatever, and he gave them something to drink? And so it was two friends, and one of the friends drunk hers, and she said immediately my head got lightheaded. She's like, I got lightheaded. I felt dizzy.
It was a Cosby situation.
And she said, I got lightheaded. I felt dizzy. And she said, I looked at my friend. And she said, as soon as I looked at my friend and was like giving her the eye, then somebody was like, yo, what's wrong with you? Like, why are you looking at her like that? Like, just go ahead and like relax. Just enjoy it. Like, why? And she was trying to tell her friend, hey, don't finish your drink. And then she said that what ended up happening was her friend ended up finishing her drink. And she said that she passed out. And she woke up with her clothes disheveled and didn't know what happened. And then he just got her a cab ride, told her to leave, cussed her out. told her to leave because I guess when she came to, she was like, "What happened?" And asked all
she
these
was really
questions.
upset. Yeah,
He's irritated about that. So yeah,
of course, because he has no
Yeah.
feelings of
No,
anything.
no.
So yeah, other than fear for himself and anger.
exactly.
Those
So,
are the only feelings that it appears as though he has. So
yeah.
anyway, all
that's the whole
right.
thing.
So yeah, that's it. That's it. Okay. Well, oh, and the other thing I was going to say, the other people, as I was saying that about Mary J. Blige, and then I'll leave this topic alone. The only other person or people that I'd love to hear about or from is Justin Bieber and Usher. Which Usher has talked a teeny bit.
Yeah, a little bit, but he
But
ain't
Justin
gonna say too
Bieber
much.
ain't said nothing.
You know why Justin Bieber ain't gonna say nothing?
Why?
Because he's like, I am in with these big influence people, and I have the life that I want. So therefore, don't ask me no questions.
I don't know. I have no idea.
I really don't think that Justin Bieber's going to say anything because of the fact that I feel like ever since Justin Bieber got his sickness and he has this
with the Bell's palsy on his face.
Yeah, I feel like after that he's just like, I want people to leave me alone.
Yeah, they kind of said he's retired.
Yeah,
He's basically sold like $50 million worth of stuff.
Yeah, he's
and
done.
he's like,
He
I'm
just wants to
retired
be
and I want to be a
with-
dad
yeah,
and
he
a
wants to be
husband
married,
and all of that and just focus
so
on
I feel
that.
like he's just going to be like, don't ask me no questions.
Yeah, it's possible.
No comment. No
Yep,
comment. no
exactly.
comment.
But it's just so unfortunate that like he and Usher both at like 13 were sent to Diddy's party house or whatever.
yeah.
And I'm like, who are these parents? The parents that like, for example, with the young girls with R. Kelly or
Yeah.
for the young boys with Diddy. Like, who are these parents that are like, for you to be so close to an artist, we're just going to send you to their house, sight unseen. I don't know this person from anybody, but I'll let you mentor, quote unquote, my child without his supervision and
But you know what
be
it
okay
is?
with that just so that
they see dollar signs. Two, they see the success of the people that they're sending their son to.
Yes, but
and they're
what's the
not
cost?
but that's the thing. They're not thinking about that because they don't. That maybe it could be adults that never had anything happen to them. So they're not expecting anything to happen to their kids. So and then when something does happen to their kids, they're appalled and like, how dare you? It's like, but this is something that happens every day.
Every
in
day
society.
somewhere, yeah.
So therefore, that's why I always tell parents, hey, watch your kids and who your kids to go with.
Yes,
Because-
who they hang out with,
yeah.
who you bring into your
Well,
home,
and
whose home you let them
yeah.
go to.
Family, friends, it doesn't matter. You just gotta
Doesn't
watch
matter.
it and definitely talk to your kids because, keep that open relationship and line of communication. Never have your kids scared of you. Be able to have that open communication with your kids so your kids can come to you and be like, hey, mom,
This
Dad,
is what's going on.
This
is what
I
happened.
don't think this is right. And what do you think about it? So then that way the parents can go ahead and take care of the
Exactly.
situation.
All right. So, on a different note,
Yes.
I'm going to jump into the Emmy Awards, and then I think we'll probably
Emmys.
wrap it up.
We're already at time.
Yes, we're at about 52 minutes.
Well,
right
we're
now.
gonna name this one the Diddy the Diddler.
Oh gosh, I don't know about that. Well,
1,000 bottles of Johnson & Johnson.
1,000 bottles of baby oil.
We
Yeah.
should name
I
it
don't know.
1,000 bottles of Johnson. What was it? What is it? The bottles of beer?
1,000 bottles of
1,000
beer on a
bottles
ball.
of beer on the
Okay.
wall. 1,000 bottles of Johnson & Johnson. 1,000 bottles of Johnson.
Okay, that's too hard. Okay. Anywho, for the Emmys, I'll just go through who some of the winners were for the Emmy Awards.
I didn't
You
watch
had the two Levies, the father and son, were the hosts.
know.
Yes,
That's so
that was
awesome.
really cute.
That is awesome.
And so, basically, you have for the best directing for a limited anthology or series. It was the winner is a show called Ripley. I don't even know what Ripley is. Have you heard of Ripley?
Believe it or not, no.
I know, I haven't
that what it
either,
is?
but it was up against True Detective Night Country, which I thought was great. Didn't you watch that? I thought that was amazing.
Oh, yeah. It was
So I don't know how it beat that, but now it's got me wanting to potentially watch Ripley. Let's see what else we have. We have hold on. We have the best writing for a comedy series. It's for a show called Bulletproof. Never heard of that, but Paul W. Downs wrote for Bulletproof, so that's just something for y'all to think about, along with Gene Statsky and Lucida Aniello. And so they beat out actually Quinta this time around. So
What?
Go figure
Okay.
for it. Writing
Quinta,
for a
I'm gonna
comedy
need you to work harder,
series.
okay, ma'am? Let's get some more people on the cast to make you go ahead and move up. Come on, let's do this.
Directing for a drama series is for a show called Crimson Sky. Never heard of it.
No.
And that was Frederick E. O'Toole. The writing for a variety series, it was The Daily Show up against Saturday Night Live and the Last Week with John Oliver. And of course, John Oliver won again. John Oliver wins every single time.
Yeah, because he got was his new show called
I don't know what the new show is. This is for Last Week Tonight with John
Yeah, that's
Oliver.
what I'm saying. Yeah, Last Week. That's his new show. That's what this show is called.
That's the show it's always been.
That's
Last
what I'm
Week
saying.
Tonight.
I'm saying I didn't know the name of it. I couldn't remember the name of it.
But you said a new show. He's had the show for years.
I'm sorry, not a new show, but it's new for different whatchamacallit, because he hasn't always had it on Max, has he?
Oh, you're talking about on a different platform.
Yeah, platform.
Oh,
yes,
okay. I was going to say this show
bad.
he's had for years. Okay.
Yeah, but no.
But yeah, so which some people argue that when it's easy when you have a show you do once a week versus other shows that go all the time. But Saturday Night Live is once a week too.
I know,
so
but then
there's
also
that.
you got to think about it.
The Daily
How much
Show is the Daily.
news do you have in a week that you also have to cram into an hour? That's a lot of
that's
work.
that's a lot of
That's
to
a lot of
fit in.
stress.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so then you have the best drama series. The winner was Negotiating with Tigers. Negotiating
Why don't I
with
know
Tigers.
any of this?
I don't know that one either. But it was up against, all these shows I've never heard of. It's Ritz, Crimson Sky, Engine, The End. All these shows I've never, ever heard of. So that just goes to show that there's way too many networks, shows,
Platforms,
streaming, things going on that I can't. But
We
that
gotta
also
step up
tells
our
me that
game.
if you're an actor and you're not actively working, you're probably not a good actor because there's too many things for you to be on.
Or maybe, a lot of people move to LA and New York to be actors, so maybe...
No, I'm not talking about new. I'm talking about like
older people.
If you're somebody who's been in the game for 20 years and you don't have work, then
you can
there's too
definitely
many
do a
things
commercial
going on.
for the General, because the General is always hiring. Okay.
All right, so then you have limited anthology series. Guess who won since you didn't watch it? Ripley. Yeah, anthology. Limited or anthology series.
I don't know.
So Ripley, we don't know anything about.
I think it's Ripley's Believe It or Not. It's not Ripley's.
I
Believe It.
don't
I'm
have
about
any
to look it up.
clue. Yeah. Okay, listen to the choices.
Sorry,
Work with me.
sorry.
All right. Ripley, Lessons in Chemistry, True Detective, Night Country, Baby Reindeer, or Fargo.
Baby
What do you
Reindeer.
think won? You're right.
Baby Reindeer.
Reindeer.
My little baby Reindeer.
Oh my God, that was so good. And
It was
so
good. But I just
horrible
like saying
at the
Baby
same
Reindeer.
time. At the same time, it was good and bad. Okay, best supporting actor in a limited or anthology series. It was the winner was Lamorne Davis. So you know him, you've seen him before, but he was the winner, and he played the sheriff.
Yes, he was actually one of the best friends on the New Girl TV show.
Oh, okay, got it. I never watched that.
With the girl, what's her name, Zoe Deschanel.
Yes,
Yes.
Exactly.
So he was
All
on that
right,
show.
yeah.
'Cause they asked him on the red carpet, was like, so because the show ended abruptly, is there going to be anything else? And he was like, we wanted it to be something else except for this one guy, but they were picking on the guy.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, but yeah. I know the guy.
Supporting actor in a comedy series, you had the Bear one for that, and
Oh,
the guy's
absolutely.
name is Ebon Moss Baccarat. And so I don't know which character he plays on the Bear because I don't watch the Bear.
He is the illegitimate owner cousin's. I think he's either the cousin. Because they call him cousin. Hey cousin. Hey
Oh,
cousin.
okay.
So he's the cousin of the Lip character, whatever his name is.
Oh, yeah.
He's
And
the
so
cousin.
you had him
The
up against
knucklehead.
Bowen Yang on Saturday Night Live, Paul Rudd on Only Murders in the Building, Tyler James Williams from Abbott Elementary, Paul W. Downs on Hacks, and Elbow, who plays on the Bear also.
But I feel
So I don't know
like
what character he plays on the Bear.
He's one of the cooks.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I feel like it should have been was it Bowen Yang or
Somebody else on Saturday Night Live?
what was the other name that you said?
Jesse Tyler, Tyler James.
Yes, from
Abbott Elementary with
Abbott
Quinta,
Elementary.
where it's her,
it should have been
where
those
they,
two
like,
because
share their
I
looks.
haven't watched the new season of The Bear, But
Maybe there's more that's going on there.
Maybe so, but I mean, like, the cousin just kind of popped up and, like, said some stuff, caused some drama, and then left, and then, that was it.
Oh,
but
now, at least I'm seeing that Dakota Fanning is in Ripley, so I don't know if they've seen anything
I don't know what that
she
is. It's a
in.
miniseries.
But so the next one is supporting actress in a limited series or anthology, and the winner of that was Jessica Gunning for Baby Reindeer.
Baby Reindeer.
Yeah, so she won as the woman,
Reindeer.
which was crazy. Best supporting actress in a drama series was Elizabeth Debicki, who played in The Crown as beautiful Diana.
Oh, yeah,
with the long neck.
Yeah.
She looked
she
amazing.
is a really good actress,
And
but I
she
feel
looked
like
just like her.
I feel like she's a great actress, but they typecast her. They keep putting her in roles where she is
Was she that way in Widows?
like.
Wasn't she in Widows? I think.
What is Widows?
Anyway, go ahead.
But no, I feel like they typecast her for the beautiful mother or the beautiful woman that's like a model that does this. She's not.
Yeah, she was in The Widows. Yeah.
Okay, but she's not playing anything where she is down and dirty and
All right. She was in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
She was in Uncle. Well, it's all spelled out. Like
Yeah,
the man
yeah,
named from
UNCLE.
Uncle. Yeah. Gatsby. Great Gatsby that long ago. I didn't know she was out then. She was in The Night Manager, The Crown, Tenant. I didn't know she was in that. And Maxine. So I didn't remember her in Tenant. But
Well, I mean,
anyway.
but then we didn't know her because she didn't have any leading roles then. So.
That's true. All right. And then outstanding reality competition program was Traitors. That's done in Scotland.
Oh, yeah. What's the name of that guy? That's
The host of it?
Yeah.
It's
Everybody
Alan
confuses
Cummings.
him for
Alan
Pee Wee
Cummings. Really?
Yeah, there was
Alan
there was a whole show where the mother confused him for Pee Wee Herman, and then he was like, "Yeah, that's me. Come on, let's go."
Goodness. Okay.
I can't remember the show.
Lead actress in a comedy series is Jean Smart for Hacks. So she won, which was great. She was up against Kristen Wiig for Palm Royale.
Okay.
Maya Rudolph for Loot.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a tough.
Quinta Brunson for Abbott Elementary.
that's really tough.
Selena Gomez for Only Murders in the Building. And Ava, I can never say her name, Edembury for The Bear.
Edembury.
Yeah. It's Ed.
Ayo.
Avo. Oh, Ayo. Is it Ayo? Oh, I'm sorry.
Ayo,
Yeah,
Edembury.
it cut it off. Yeah.
Yeah, but so, but I mean, I think that, what's her name? Jean
Smart.
Jean
Yeah.
Smart. I think
She's
that
been
Jean
around.
Smart-
She's been
yeah.
in the game forever.
Yeah, and I do feel like that was definitely.
I don't know how
one
many
thing.
she's gotten.
I hope that Glenn Close wins something next year.
Oh, she has to win. We have we even talked about?
We haven't talked about
we
it
gotta
yet,
talk about
but
it.
it's
We are so far behind on that one. We gotta talk about it.
Nappy.
Oh Lord. Anyway, let's calm it down. Okay, can I get through this?
Yes, I'm sorry.
All right. Writing for a limited series is Richard Gadd for Baby Reindeer. So he's the one that it happened to him in real life.
Oh,
and
yeah,
he
yeah,
wrote
he-
it and
he
he played
played
the main
himself.
character. He played himself. And then you have lead actor in a series is Jeremy Allen White for The Bear, who is Lip, basically,
Lip,
or, you know, that's what I call him. He was up against Larry David, Martin Short, Matt Berry, who was in What We Do in the Shadows. I guess it's one of those vampires.
yeah.
I don't even know why he was. I don't know what's going on with that show that it would even be up for an Emmy. But
No,
I
it's
Steve Martin.
It's a comedy, so
It's corny. Steve Martin only Murders in the Building, and DeFaro Wu Atai. I don't know who that is for Reservoir Dogs. I don't know who that person is. It's like Pharaoh, but it's with a D in the front.
For Reservation Dogs.
Oh, Reservation Dogs. Sorry.
Yeah, but say Reservoir Dogs is
That was a movie.
Tarantino movie.
That was a
Yeah.
movie. That's
this
true,
Reservation
that's true.
Dogs.
Yep.
It's
I did like Reservoir Dogs. That's why I probably said
yeah,
that.
Mr. Brown,
All right,
Mr.
and
Black,
then
Mr.
it's
Yellow.
supporting actor in a drama series, Billy Crudup for The Morning Show. He won, and so he is that guy who's like the executive producer or something, the one who is the main one. For The Morning Show, lead actress in a limited anthology was Jodie Foster for Night Country, True Detective. Lead actor was the guy from Baby Reindeer, Richard Gadd. So he won for 2. So good for him. Best supporting actress in a comedy series is Liza Colón Zares, which is in The Bear. So which character does she play?
She is a woman who actually argues with Ayo Adebiri about. So Ayo Adebiri ends up being the sous chef, and this woman had been there for so much longer that she felt like she
should have been there.
So she was giving her a hard time, and then they end up becoming friends. But she is like right underneath the sous chef.
Oh, okay. So she won an Emmy. Yeah. And her husband is David Zaris, which a lot of people know. He's amazing. He was on Dexter as the other detective. Oh, I can't even think of what his name was in that particular show. But Angel Batista. He was so good. Okay. Anyway, moving on because we are over time. Then we have the lead actress in a drama series is Anna Sawai for Shogun, which I never heard of Shogun as a movie. Oh, Shogun is the one. You saw that.
I watched it. Yeah.
All right, and then you also have lead actor, same thing, Shogun. Hiroyuki Sanada is the one who won. And then you have drama series, Shogun again. So Shogun must be really good. And then finally, the outstanding comedy series was, okay, here are your choices. You ready?
Yeah.
Only Murders in the Building.
Uh-huh.
Hacks.
Uh-huh.
Palm Royale.
Ooh.
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Ooh.
The Bear. Abbott Elementary. Reservation Dogs. What We Do in the Shadows.
The Bear.
No.
What was the second one you said?
I don't even remember because I didn't do them in order.
The second one was
Only Murders in the Building.
no,
Hacks.
Hacks, yes.
Hacks won.
Hacks, yeah.
Hacks
I
won.
figured it would have been the Bear of Hacks.
Okay.
I feel like Only Murders in the Building. I feel like they're putting their shows out really fast. Like they're putting multiples out per year, and
Not
I feel
the
like
quality.
well, no, it's not the quality, but I feel like people are kind of like, well, if I'm stuck on this show, I can't start another show yet because if you put out 2 in a year.
Yeah.
And I'm already on another show. I don't want to do that. Also, did you hear the news that Meryl Streep and Martin Short might be dating?
In real life?
In real
What?
life.
Oh my gosh. I cannot
That
believe
could
that.
be a thing. But I mean, you know.
But she is hilarious.
She's on, Only Murders. Yeah.
Only
So
Murders. She was funny
it's
last
rumors.
time.
It's rumors.
Rumors
that
and
are going
innuendo. So don't hold that against us. So, all right, everybody. Well, that is another episode of Sestra-Tainment. Have an amazing, amazing week, and we'll see you next time. Bye.